Get straight to calendar.
Open wide for some soccer!
Shambles.
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight for that.
Good evening, Mariners. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be, but we're joined by Mike, Youngie, and 10-minute producer Bruce, who you can tell he needs to do something because he comes in 5 minutes before the actual comes up and goes, can we get this done quite quickly? Because I want to go watch the Formula One. Does fuck all else, but we'll do that.
Rude. I have got feelings, you know.
Have you? You should bring him in.
Can I just, before we start, I've had a really good idea.
I bet you've not. That's a bit subjective.
I mean, we've got an entire WhatsApp group where you can put this stuff in rather than coming online and delaying it. It'll be gone at 8:59.
I've just thought of it now. You know, yesterday, I wasn't there. I didn't see it, but it sounds like we couldn't have hit a cow's ass. We couldn't have hit a cow's ass with a banjo. Can you do us a credit for when we've done shit and we've not scored? You know, like Lenny firing over from 2 yards and stuff like that. The same intro, the same music. What a magnificent piece of football as Adam Proudlock's penalty goes over the home end at Aldershot. You know, it would be amazing, and it would cheer everybody up on a bad day. That's my input anyway.
Are you like EastEnders have a sad note when somebody dies or leaves the show?
It.
Yeah.
What a magnificent piece of football! Oh, hang on a minute. Whoa! I think Pittman's penalty's about to land.
I think if anybody has that footage, it reminds me, Carly Osborne once, who a centre back that everyone has forgotten, did a some footballers who struggle to find clubs after they've left. I don't know why. He put together a YouTube reel of his highlights at town, and it was effectively him passing the ball 5 yards forward with no pressure on him whatsoever. If I can find it, I'll pull it out. He got a trial at Aldershot at least out of it. So, you know.
But what a 5 yards it was. You take the piss, but what a 5 yards it was. I've seen plenty of footballers that can't do that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, sadly, it wasn't to be. But don't worry. Next season, every one of us down south, we've got 35 away games to go to within an hour. Bruce, on the other hand, and Youngie, I've got fuck all. And the only person they've got to blame for that is everybody else. And we'll go through that. Let's be positive for a point. We will go through the season as a whole next week, but it's a good opportunity to go through the game. Youngie, you were there out of the four of us. What were your thoughts?
Good evening, everybody. Firstly, I think starting from kind of early on, I got to kind of Blundell Park about kind of 1:15, 1:30, and there was already an atmosphere, which was great. It felt big. It felt massive. Walking to the Chippy, walking down Cleethorpes Road, even in the queue, there was a buzz in the air, and including with the Wimbledon fans as well, who I say every single one of them I met were very, very nice. But atmosphere before kickoff was great. It's probably the loudest when the team has come out I have heard Blundell Park for years. The place was rocking, and I thought that first half, I thought we played well. I like the fact that we played on the front foot. We were energetic. We were closing them down. Now, I didn't think maybe during the first half that the wind played a big factor in that. Until then, you kind of look back in hindsight and go, "Oh yeah, Wimbledon couldn't get the ball past the halfway line, could they?" So that should have been the half that we took advantage. Kieran Green puts that cross in. 9 times out of 10, Danny Rose puts that away, doesn't he? But for some reason, he chooses a glancing header. Abikwu arguably should have had a penalty. I think it appeared. I don't know why it went the other way. I don't kind of get what the referee saw with that one. There's that opportunity where Evan Corey runs through, and all he has to do is square it to Abikwu. and he decides to go himself and kind of tamely it to the keeper. But at half time, all of us around us going, we're in this, we're going to win this. We look well on top. And then the second half, it was like a completely different game. And we've said it a lot this season, haven't we? That has been a downfall of ours, kind of the tempo as soon as we kick off the second half. And it was Wimbledon were up, suddenly looked really up for it. And again, I think the win did play a massive part in that. And we conceded the same goal we've conceded about 30 times this season. Corner comes in, fail to defend it, keeper saves, easy chance, 1-0. And we never looked back in it again, did we? I mean, we'll talk about the lack of substitutions, I'm sure, during this. Everyone around us was getting quite frustrated with it. But I have to say, again, the crowd stuck with the team for all of that game. And even at the end, most people stayed behind to clap the players. So, yeah, it wasn't to be. And maybe in hindsight, a team that has 65 goals conceded, came 20th in the home form for the season, maybe doesn't deserve to get promoted. I don't know, but it's been a bloody good ride. And yeah, sad. And I was gutted yesterday. And now we can look back in hindsight and go, it's been a good ride on it.
Does that mean he'll be back in 1 minute, do we think? I thought he meant he wanted to talk.
Shall I go then while he's disappeared?
You watched it, Mike. I was fortunate enough not to. So, yeah, you fire away, mate.
Maybe he's going to have to get another glass of that wine he's discreetly drinking there. Did you notice that, by the way? Yeah, I agree with Youngie pretty much. I think first half we were quite good. I think we're the better team without being too far ahead. I think we had a good few chances. If we put those away on a different day, I think it turns the game round and we're in the ascendancy, and Wimbledon have got it all to do. So I think especially that chance for Danny Rose, I think that was a glorious chance. And if you want anybody in the team, not just this year, but for the past couple of years, that you want that chance falling to there, it's Danny Rose. And just, it didn't quite go. Second half, they came out and I think they'd worked us out. And they sort of, even from kickoff, they sort of turned the ball over and then got some pressure for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. And it was a game where I thought the person that got the first goal was probably going to end up winning that game. You can see why Wimbledon are so good defensively. They're a good unit and they know what they're doing. The only thing that, other than the lack of substitutions, which we'll get to, the other thing that frustrated me a little bit is what I mentioned last week about Warren. I like Warren. I think he's done a fantastic job coming in and defending as a left-sided centre-back. I think he's done that job well. But he is a bit of a round peg in a square hole, and he did a job while McJanet was out. And we've got McJanet on the bench. And I'd really like to have seen him start, not only for the fact he just gives us a bit more balance in the team. Now, when you're trying to pass the ball out from the back, it doesn't matter for a lot of teams in League Two because they're not passing the ball, so they're missing it. But we're trying to pass the ball out and create some phases of play. And I think Warren's reluctance on his left foot does limit us a little bit and limits Hume a little bit. And I think Wimbledon had worked that out and everything was going through Warren. And that sort of stifled us a little bit. So as good as he has been, if we have McJanet available, I would have wanted to see him play just for that balance. And we made that change quite late on. And you could see it did make a difference. McJanet got up the pitch a bit, was outside Hume, gave an option. And I think when we do that, Hume ends up defending a little bit too much. And he is a good outlet for us. And you don't want him defending if you can help it. So that's the only little gripe I had, other than the fact we just didn't make any substitutions. Second half, just the game drifted, passed us by. And when you get with 10 minutes left, you know you're not going to score two, especially against a team as good as Wimbledon defensively.
Yeah, that's a really good point you make about Warren. And I think they made a point in the second half of forcing us to play onto that left-hand side, especially for them first 20 minutes. They figured out quite quickly, oh, this guy can't use his left foot. And the amount of times, especially in the first, until he got taken off, really, that Warren would get the ball. There was no way he could get a pass forward to Hume, so he'd kind of hoof it and end up going out for a throw, kind of. And we suddenly, very quickly, we look very disorganised from not looking like that. And I agree, Cam McJanet should have started yesterday, certainly for the back. And it makes Hume a better player when he's got McJanet, the security of McJanet behind him as well.
Well, I said last week against MK Dons, I think it just narrows the pitch slightly. I mean, it's not a massive issue defensively. It's just that in possession of the ball. And I'd really like to see, if there was a way to see going back in the season, how often McJanet plays the ball to Hume and that creates a sort of box entry. Because from my memory, quite a lot of the time, McJanet does get the ball quite high up and Hume does get some entries into the box. I can't remember Hume doing that for a few weeks now. He's sort of not been himself. And I think when Hume isn't playing well and you've not got him as an outlet, you notice that. And I think we have over the last 3 or 4 games.
I'm going to come in with the negative. I've been really disappointed with how we've performed in the last sort of 5-6 games of this season. It's relegation form. Now, whether it's fatigue or the pressure got to them, I think they bottled it is probably the right word. You look at the 2-goal lead we lost at Harrogate and then again at Swindon. Those 4 points take you into the playoffs. I don't see us getting past Notts County though, which would have probably been the team we played. Walsall maybe, and then you got a final and you don't know what happens. But I think there are a couple of players that we've been very dependent on this season who have been out of form in this last run, including Danny Rose, including Kieran Green and Hume, who I think has been especially poor, especially when it comes down to his set pieces and his deliveries. It is very much a season where it is a positive. We've moved on incredibly, but when the opportunity we've had has been presented to us, we've been found sadly wanting. And I'm sure there are the players on the pitch going, well, hang on a minute, mate. There's probably 13 or 14 of us who are playing regularly. And you look into the bench and senior pros like Pike, like Donovan Wilson, like Thompson, like Ainley, who have had to be dragged and have been passengers in this team. And when you are playing half a season with 2 fit strikers and then a quarter of it with 1 fit striker, you can't expect to go anywhere. But given the fact you had 45 minutes to at home in front of the biggest crowd in 20 years to do something and to put yourself in front of everybody, I think the players can be really disappointed in what they put on for both the fans, both today and at Milton Keynes and at Swindon. And Port Vale I thought was really impressive, but you could see that the demons were there when they conceded, and then the same at Harrogate. But it shows what needs to be improved. I think Hume, I think the issue you were talking about with Tite is a problem, but it was the Ibikwe one that Youngie was talking about with Corey. I think Ibikwe I was really disappointed in Ibikwe. He showed his immaturity there. He was 2 yards behind the defenders, and if he wanted that ball, he needed to be in line with them. And he's quick enough and smart enough to be doing that. There were a couple of times yesterday where he didn't chase everything, and he wasn't up. The other one was when the keeper came out. Rose went to tackle the keeper. The keeper spilled it, and a more experienced pro and a dedicated pro would have been up there to take that second ball. And I don't remember us winning a second ball in the second half. It was a lack of desire from everyone, and it could be knackered. They could be knackered, but given we've made what out of the last 6 games, we've accumulated 0.6 points in that, and you can't get in the playoffs with that. And we wouldn't have done well in the playoffs with that sort of form anyway. Not that anyone else in the playoffs apart from Chesterfield is any sort of form. And Mike was entirely right to say, worry about Chesterfield, don't worry about anybody else. But 45 minutes to go, great improvement, but you're also 45 minutes to go at home and you fucked it. And you did so at Milton Keynes, you did so at Port Vale, you did so at Harrogate. There's a lack of leadership there, I think, and that needs to be addressed in the summer, and I'm sure it will be. That's the negativity. We'll do the positive at a point, but I think,
I think one thing for saying for that, I think there was only one truly bad performance in them 6 games, and that was the Swindon game. But you are right. The problem has been we are unable to do it for 90 minutes. And it's been a problem for a lot of the season, to be fair. Hence why have lost as many games as we have. The whole winning, losing thing's been the balance thing's been kind of covered that up a little bit. And you're completely right. We've struggled to put on a real 90-minute performance of dominance. Say not just in the last 6 games, but pretty much all the way through the season. And that is because, as you're saying, the squad hasn't had the depth. What this summer has to be now is where you got to go, right, we need competition in all places. It can't be, Denver Hume needs competition, Green needs competition, Rhodes needs competition. And I get without a massive budget, that is not the easiest thing to do, but that has to be surely the next level now. The next level of getting from going from nearly Rands to a team that's pushing has got to be having real competition all across the board.
And I think that's probably one of the reasons why Artell didn't look to the bench till the 80th minute. I assume that's also why he was quite reticent to bring it on during Milton Keynes, is because he doesn't trust that. He doesn't trust that bench to fulfill anything. And there's quite a few people coming in the chat saying, look, you've got Cass, Carson, Thompson, you've got a litany of players, and Davis, all of whom this team has had to carry. And you don't have to have the best team in this league to get promoted, but you certainly need a squad capable of doing it. And when you've probably got 14, maybe 15 players to do it, you're on a hide into nothing. But that doesn't excuse the level of performance that the 13 or so players have been putting out in probably the last 5 to 6 games. That I think the pressure got to them. Yes, Mike, sorry.
I think as well as physically, I think you can talk mentally about exhaustion as well, and I think you could see that catch up. And I'll give you 2 games as an example to make your points for you. Harrogate, we look comfortable. Tham comes off, we lose him. There's nobody that's come on that is of the same level, because everybody's on that we've got is on the pitch. We concede 2 goals. Port Vale, we're up against it. We have to take somebody off the midfield. We can only bring Barrington on because we don't have anybody else. And he doesn't clear a ball in the box. Now that, whoever you brought on might have done that, but you're still not replacing. You're not taking a Corey off for somebody that's just as good. And Corey, on his breakout season, has played every single league game. Now he's been outstanding this season, but as a young professional starting to play his first full season, you'd want to take him in and out a little bit and keep his energy. And that just sort of makes that point for you. There's been 6 or 7 players we've been carrying, not on small amounts of money. And when you have to carry that many, if you didn't have those 6 or 7 players, you think you was balmy having a squad that size, and that's what we've had all season.
Yes, Bruce, I haven't heard your dulcet tones yet. What were you going to say?
Some of those players that you've mentioned are his players, though. So, we need to. The recruitment's going to have to be right this summer, isn't it? We can't afford to have 3 or 4 that we don't trust that we sign in the summer, which is effectively what's happened. I know we signed Thompson earlier, but yes, he's still got Pike and Wilson, and he's had Vernam injured for most of the season. But we've seen when Vernam's come back, if we can by some miracle, and hopefully for the lad we do keep him fit, he's going to be a massive asset for us. But there are other players that you've mentioned in those 5 or 6 that are Artell's signings. So you're going to assume that we're going to have a couple next season that are similar if we don't get it right with all of them, which is very hard to do. And we have a small squad.
Yeah. And I think there's 2 players you've missed out on that. 2 players we brought in January, in Turry and Burns, both of whom we paid something for. And where are they? We're desperate for attacking players, both of whom have got a little bit about them, apparently. I haven't seen enough of Burns to really warrant that, but they haven't played a part in this at all. So I understand fitness might be a part, but they've been here now for nearly 5 months. Where are they? They are a concern to me, because they're players that we have chased and targeted, and they might not be there yet, but backs against the walls, 20 minutes to go, and you're looking for a goal. Where are those sort of guys? And I would want to know what's going on with those guys if I owned the club, because you've asked me to pay for them. You've brought them in. They basically took up our entire focus during January, and they're not there.
But he did say, I know, like you say, 20 minutes they could have come on, but it makes you wonder how much real belief there was in January that we could get promoted. When we've signed 2 players in a squad that was relatively small, looking at next season already, rather than 2 players like you say, you could have brought in, maybe another loan, or you could have brought in somebody, but we're planning, and I mean that's what they've said, isn't it? Artell is a planner. He's always working towards the next thing. So was there a real belief that we, within the camp and within the club, that we could get promoted, or were we always really looking to next season, and anything we get this season, which I think we would have all agreed with at the start of the season, was a bonus?
Yeah, but I mean, going back onto the substitution point a second, the only I get them arguments completely, and I agree with a lot of it, as in to say he clearly doesn't have faith in his bench. But yesterday was the final shootout. We were
And he
one
brings on
goal,
McJanet.
and he brings on McJanet, which was, by the way, if you bring McJanet on with Vernon or with Barrington, that doesn't look like a negative substitution. But because he's done it as the first substitution, half an hour to go, it looks outwardly negative, doesn't it?
I see why he's done it.
Yeah, I completely see why he's done it, but because he's done it as a standalone substitution, as opposed to I'll bring 2 or 3 on at this point. It looks negative, and it does. And I wonder if you're Vernon or Byrne sat on that bench at that, or even Barrington at that point, going, really? Like, am I not at least worth half an hour of your time to give this a go? We had literally nothing to lose at that point, and we never, in that first 20 minutes, that second half, we didn't even get near the goal, let alone have any chances on target.
One shot on target, wasn't it? Or second half?
Well, that was in the 85th minute.
Yeah.
So I don't buy. I can't buy that. Oh, we don't think the players are good, and that it's. I'd be quite insulted if I was a Vernon or a Barrington in that situation. I get it, kind of in other situations where you maybe holding on to a lead or something like that. But in that, no, that don't ring very right to me.
I mean, I was getting quite angry about it watching the game. I understand during the course of a season, if you're behind but the team's doing all right, you'd stick with it, because if you just change everything, that doesn't automatically mean something better going to happen. However, you could see from when they scored to the 5 minutes after, we've seen this show before, we've seen this film before, we know it's going to end. The game is going to drift, and in the 80th minute, he'll do what a lot of football managers seem to do, is then change 3 or 4 people and see if he can get a reaction then. I just don't know why in the last game of the season, where everything's riding on it, you don't say, do you know what, this isn't working, I can see it isn't working, let's change something. To hell with it, let's take a gamble. You know, we've done it in other games when we've been behind. We've made 3 or 4 changes. We've done it lots of times. And he's mentioned he'd rather lose a game 3 or 4 than lose it 1-0. And I do sometimes wonder what, this isn't directed at our coaching staff, but what coaching staff think when they're sat on the sidelines and the game's drifting? What do you think they're saying to each other? Yeah, this is fine. Do they just not see that nothing's happening? Change something. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Don't you think? I think you've got a great point there. You don't see, and I think it's another thing that stems from like the top level. You'll see Liverpool, City. They don't. No one puts it in the mixer anymore. No one throws the kitchen sink at anything. They just keep on. Right.
Just fucking throw yourself at it.
This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And you'll see, like, teams that will lose, and they'll have the ball on the, there's the last 30 seconds of stoppage time, and time runs out with them passing it around the edge of the opponent's penalty area, looking for a perfect opportunity, rather than, like you say, bring on another forward, take off a centre back, and let's get it forward, get it up the pitch, and we'll play in their penalty area off whatever comes our way. You don't see it. It's all this beautiful football. But as you say, Mike, there's a time and a place for getting it into the opposition's penalty area and seeing how they like it up and at them. I think. Well, maybe we're all, even at your age, Mike, maybe we're all too old school.
Thank you, Sergeant Jones.
Well, you know what, Bruce? It's funny you say that, though, because
Corporal Jones, he wasn't a sergeant. Hang on. He wasn't a sergeant. He was a corporal. Come on.
Yeah.
It's the only one of that list of comedy theme tunes we don't have on the system.
Oh, Bruce will have it for next week now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Give me 5 minutes.
But so just going back to the point what Bruce just said. You know what? You're right. But the only team I've seen do it in years was Man United in Europe the other day when they shoved Harry Maguire up front. And guess what? Bloody worked. It worked. They had scored 3 goals in 10 minutes, because they just went, oh, shove it, fuck it, we'll put a centre back up on, just make the defenders think a little bit, going, oh God, how do we defend this? We'd not be used to this all game. Would there have been anything wrong with 10 minutes to go to shove Dove Farm up there and just give it a go?
But it's 10 minutes to go. In my eyes, that's too late. I mean, I don't think it's controversial to say from the middle of that half, I think we all knew where that was going. We couldn't get much possession. We couldn't really put much together, create any pressure. It was a very bitty game. So change it. What are you going to lose? I understand if you're behind, but you're playing well and you're creating pressure. Changing that might change what happens. It's not always the magic answer, just changing shit for changing's sake. But I think in that situation, you've got to be sitting there thinking, do you know what? This isn't going our way. To hell with everything else. Let's have a go. And I don't think we did until the last couple of minutes. And then it's too late. Even if you nick one in the 85th minute, it's a big job to be trying to score a winner, because you needed a winner. You needed two, not one.
Just watching from afar yesterday at the score, it was quite obvious from reasonably early in the second half that we needed to win the game to get in the playoffs. So a draw wasn't going to be enough.
Oh, so, it was for a moment, Bruce.
We had to rely on us beating Wimbledon and then let everything else. If we ended up finishing 6th and not 7th, then so be it, because the others hadn't all won. But as you say, we would have been. It was the one game that we didn't lose 3-0 that you'd have almost been happier losing 3-0 than 1-0.
It's an interesting discussion we'll probably have next week where we review the season as a whole. But my impression is that Artell looked out on initially his project and the way he wanted to play didn't really work. The wins we got were a completely different sort of role and the way he wanted to perform to the way he wanted it to be. Gillingham wasn't the way he wanted to win, and there's a few others at the time that will elude me. He then found a formation which surprised everyone we were playing, including himself. And I think probably about sort of early March that was sorted, and other teams had worked out how to counter it, and we just didn't get into it. We didn't lose the playoffs yesterday because of our performance yesterday. We lost it at Harrogate and we lost it at Port Vale, really. And to be within it with 45 minutes is an achievement, but it's a bitter one. And I really do hope the players use it as a opportunity to feel that hurt and then come back next season and push on. John Lewis is saying a very negative pod tonight. Well, John Lewis, two things. You were wrong about the penalty, because maybe you didn't watch it on TV. I don't know if anybody. He was definitely tripped, was a Bikwu. So they were both fighting to get in. Old Joyce, who had a poor game, as you could well imagine, didn't want to ruin the occasion, though. So you got to give him credit for that. When he'd wrestled himself away, he was tripped, and he wasn't on his way down. He got tripped at that time. Mike, did you see? I haven't seen it since, so maybe I'm wrong, but there's a couple of people in the group saying, yes, that was a trip. And even Rich Lord, who is on our podcast WhatsApp chat, said that it was a penalty.
Do you know, it's one of these where I'm calling for it. I'm not surprised if you get it. I didn't think it was a stonewall, but I think you had a case. I think a Bikwu and whoever the defender was doing the same to each other outside the box.
Yeah.
If you're giving a free kick against a Bikwu, then you need to be giving a free kick against the other bloke. So I think it cancels it out. If you're letting that ride from one, you let it ride from the other. When he got into the box, he was definitely tripped. It was definitely a penalty. It's whether the action at the start, what he's seen and what he's given.
I think once again,
the defender usually gets those. Let's be honest.
I think once again, Joyce bottled it. And I'm really surprised the club can't actually say, look, we don't want him. I understand controversial decisions happen all the time. If we said a red mark to every controversial and terrible referee, we'd never have a game. But there is a point in which when he comes out and says that stuff about not wanting to ruin the occasion, I actually didn't do it because of that. I think the club have a case to go, look, we don't want him as a referee. I think we have every right to be negative about the game because I don't think Town performed. The season bit, which we'll do next week, is a far more positive. That there's huge changes been made. The only Stevenage are probably the example you can go, look, well, one team can go from should be relegated to promotion in the season, but maybe I don't know enough about them to work out whether or not quite a lot of their players may have been up out of contract, but there's been so many injuries this season.
Creepy Crawley did it too, didn't they?
Oh, did they really? All right, fine.
They
See them again next year.
They were shit and then they got promoted.
But yeah, It's just a shame. And once again, it's the highest attendance we had at Blundell Park since the last gasp day of League Two disappointment against Northampton. Yes, Youngie. Sorry, did I bring up a bad memory?
No. I'm pleased to tell Bruce that they thanked the away crowd for coming.
Oh, by the way, it's Rob who does it, doesn't it? He should be out. That's a that is it not
No,
Rob?
Kev's the announcer.
Oh, Kev, but Rob does the music. That's yesterday. Oh, Bruce is shaking his head. I'm pretty sure it is. Is it changed now?
No, Rob's retired.
All right. Whoever did it.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
Whoever did it, it's a sackable offence yesterday, because not only did they thank them for coming as they're celebrating their promotion, they also then put on Freed for Desire, a massive party anthem for them to enjoy. Who's doing that? Put on, I don't know, Hello Darkness, My Old Friend, and get out.
It winds me up that they don't, when we win now, they don't immediately put on Up the Mariners. That should be, that always should be. If we win a game, instantly Up the Mariners should come on. Everyone claps along, sings the words of it. Great, thank you. That's our song. Does wind me up.
Youngie, I remember they used to do that a lot. Maybe we've had that bad a few years before before the last couple. Maybe they've just lost it.
Maybe. It's gone into
I don't normally hear the music at home at the end of the game. I'm normally on the bus.
Yeah,
I would say I don't think it's negative. I think it's fair to have a critique of a poor performance and a poor result. I think we'd all be fantastically positive about the season as a whole, but I think looking at yesterday subjectively, I don't think it was a positive game.
No, and I see a few people in there commenting about, was it the large crowd syndrome again? The crowd got behind the players yesterday. Like they were.
Apart from that one bloke on the radio.
Apart from the guy shouting at Artel at the end, but for the majority of that 8,000 crowd, they were firmly behind the players yesterday. I don't buy that. I'm not having the big crowd bottling thing. It's just so there you go.
And the other thing that I wanted to mention that I saw was people going, "Don't give them inflatable fish. We want a cauldron." It's like, well, hang on a minute. If you don't want to take an inflatable fish, you don't have to take one. And if an 8-year-old has been given a free inflatable fish, if we're relying on them to create a cauldron-like atmosphere, and you sat there with your fat stomach bowling over the seat in front of you, telling athletes far better than you've ever been to get a move on, I'm sorry, but you need to wind your necks in and get back down the pub, because you're not needed. If you're going to be saying, why don't we create don't give out these fish. Kids can have a fish. You go, oh, it was shit, we lost, but I got an inflatable fish out of it. I'll be back next season. Don't be expecting some sort of toddler to be the one creating a cauldron atmosphere. That's your job, and you never do it at Blundell Park. So shut your moaning, take your inflatable fish and shove it up your arse sideways.
All right, Rob Scott. Are you saying that it's not mandatory to have an inflatable fish?
Well, the bleating on social media would suggest that it is. And they're like, no, if I have an inflatable fish, it reduces my anger by 45% and my passion.
I tell you what, though, I bet there's a fair few Harry Haddocks on Grimsby swaps and sales now.
Well, Joanna's already said I've got a free Harry Haddock for sale, being a Town fan. There we go. So already we've started to sell them off.
It is the worst ever looking Harry Haddock, though, isn't it?
It is terrible. It looks like it's on drugs. Do you think that's why they were getting rid of them?
It's got a bent neck. It looks horrendous. It's pasty. It looks.
You wouldn't buy it off a fish market, would you?
It looks like you found it in an alley down Fremo.
I quite like this one. This was the most realistic, wasn't it? Rawby Mariner that did this one, because it's even got your little fingerprint. Granted, it's terribly clip arted on, but
that's the best one. I agree. It's not a rainbow trout.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a disgrace.
The original's the best. I'm not having anything else.
It's a fucking trout, Bruce.
It doesn't matter. It's the best looking fish.
You can't come at me.
I was looking for it, but it's died, I think.
Good. Throw your trout in the bloody bin.
This is how unresponsible Bruce is. He can't even look after an inflatable animal, let alone a real one.
Oh, no, he's only got 2 inflatables to look after. The other one's fine.
Needs a bit of a clean.
This is a white wine kind of evening.
Do you want a t-shirt? Grimsby Town, look.
Yeah, well, it is one of this podcast. What is it from? 95?
Don't know.
Is this a
Seba
t-shirt?
Geige. Seba Geige. It probably predates even that.
95 was
92.
Seba, wasn't it?
91,
Oh, yeah.
92. No, it was just Seba, 95.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That was lucky
and
you
do you know what?
I didn't realise that.
People whinge and whine about the changing of the badge, and they were quite happy for Seba Geige to be added to the bottom of it. Oh,
what happened to Geige? That's what I want to know.
What happened to Novartis? I used to think that was a cloud making machine when I was a kid. Yeah, because I'm whimsical.
Oh, you believed in chemtrails even then?
Did you? Yeah, I did. Yeah. What do we have anything else to talk about? Any positive to take? Oh yeah, let's do that. Do you know what, Bruce? You'll be impressed. Share screen. I don't want to share screen. I just want to share a window. Let's share this one. So there we go. That's your retained list. That's the list of the squad. And then watch this. Transition. They are the people that we're getting rid of. So basically, we've got.
This looks great.
Yes. Come and join us live.
If you read it out.
Well, no, I'm not reading it out. If you want to know, go to the Con Almighty website. You'll know who's.
Or come on, or go on YouTube and watch this back.
Hang on. Do we want to do this bit then? Let's go for our. This is terrible. I need a better thing. Has anyone got 500 quid so I can buy my posh little machine that I want? Anyway. So you've got Wright is going to stay. Eastwood is gone. Mechanic, Warren are all here. Okay, fine. Tharm, Rogers, McJanet, Warren, Carson, Cass are staying. Brilliant. Hume is gone. Ainley's gone. Burns is staying. Cribb, Davis are all gone. Green, Corey, McEachran, Tory, Svan Thorson and Vernon are here, while Curtis Thompson and Luca, obviously who's alone, is gone. Up front, Luca Barrington goes back to Brighton with stories of a decent seaside and not a gravel driveway that they count as a beach. Gardner's here. Abikwu's gone. Pike has gone, if he was ever here. Rose is staying, and Wilson has gone as well, if he ever actually came to Grimsby. Did he ever actually play for us? I'm not sure. But there it is. Basically, we've got to buy a load of strikers, and the keeper we want to keep is going, and the one we don't want to keep is staying. Is that about right?
By next week, we should have confirmed that. We'll all know by then.
Yeah, I think the conversation Artel had on his rather downbeat interview, as you can imagine, was that, look, they'll be having those conversations this week. Is that about right?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, I think he said. So I think I think we obviously know that Hume's been offered a deal. I think that Eastwood might have a slight chance of getting something offered to him, but I think if we're being truthful,
you're looking for a better first team goalkeeper, aren't you?
But yeah, we are. And which actually, one thing I will say as well, we talk about Wright's distribution being poor. Eastwood's distribution yesterday wasn't particularly very good either.
Yeah, completely opposite to what he was at Port Vale, where it was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was. So I think Eastwood will probably get released on the joys of trying to find a new goalkeeper. You know, we've been around Scandinavia, haven't we? We've been to Iceland and the Faroe Islands. I think Greenland is untapped territory. Are
we able to get past the naval blockade put together by the US Navy?
Yeah, we'll get past. We'll fish out a goalkeeper who's going to be 7'2". Nobody's ever heard from him before. Played handball, and he's going to become the next Scandinavian keeper sensation. That's my prediction.
I was expecting just get a really fat guy, the fattest guy you can find, and cram him into the goal.
I'm available.
Oh, don't be that harsh on yourself.
Yeah, it's too far north. You've never come up often enough.
Yeah, I can only do about. I can't play home games, and I can do about 10 or 15 games a season. Is that all right? That do?
I'm really not enjoying you lot milking how shit it is next season for travelling in League Two.
I'm not what about?
So, Mike, who have we got coming down? So, Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers, by the way.
I will go to Bristol. I've never been.
Bristol Rovers have got an Ian Holloway Hill and a sign that is dedicated to it. So the first one that rips it off is a brilliant. Oh, our friend from Crawley has already messaged us on the on old Twitter saying, "Can't wait to see you next season." Go on then. What's the list, Mike?
So you've got Accrington, Barnet, Barrow, Bristol Rovers, Bromley, Cambridge, Cheltenham, Colchester, Crawley, Crewe, Fleetwood, Gillingham, Grimsby, Harrogate, MK, Newport, Salford, Shrewsbury, Swindon, and Tranmere.
It just sounds like a list of service stations.
I said the other day, that sounds very National League, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I think we played. Yeah. Right, who are the teams in there we haven't played in the National League? Shrewsbury's one of them.
McDonald's.
Cambridge.
No, we played Cambridge.
Cambridge we played in the National League.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Who else was there? Go on then, Bruce. Mike, go down the list again. Let's see if we've played them in Accrington. We haven't played in.
We haven't played. We've played Barnet. We've played Barrow. We've played Bristol. We've played Bromley. We've played Cambridge. Cheltenham. We've played Colchester. Have they gone that far?
No.
Crawley. We've played Crewe. I don't think so. Fleetwood definitely. No. Gillingham. I don't think so.
No.
We've not played ourselves. Harrogate. We've played. Milton Keynes not a team. Nobody's played them. Newport. We've played. Salford. Yeah, was we up before they were in?
Oh, were we not?
Yes, I think we went up before they went up the year we went down.
Yeah. Shrewsbury we haven't. Swindon, I don't think we have. And Tranmere we
have.
Yeah. That is
potentially not. And potentially not Scouting in Chesterfield if they don't make it through the playoffs as well.
And every game will be available. Every game will be available on Setanta.
But by Christmas.
I looked at this list earlier when you put it up, or when you shared it in the WhatsApp. How many of those are you going to have to give the 1,200 instead of the 400? And I don't think there are any.
None. Literally none.
That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. There's none of those. None of those need more than 400 seats.
There's nobody to thank for coming, Bruce.
So why don't the club just go, right, let's get a load of temporary seats in that corner. Let's move the TV screen next to the pontoon and just put them in the corner, and then we give everything. We get everything.
Because don't you have to actually offer them? They have to be available if they wanted them.
It's got to be X percentage amount of the stadium.
Yeah, it's 10%, but you can offer them 10%. So, well, when you didn't take it, you can go in the corner in the temporary seats. And
Joanna, it's a Surrey Cricket Club mug. Sorry.
And do you know what, Joanna? They are a rare thing now, because when I went to the Oval last week, they didn't have them anymore. It was just crappy. Mike's the only ones that got them.
I gave a sample in one of them like that a bit ago.
What, in that size, Bruce? What, a gallon?
Yeah. No, they said you need to shit in this.
That was something. That was controversy in the lower Findus, I think it was. Didn't someone shit in the urinals yesterday?
I've turned 50, and if that isn't bad enough, they've sent me a letter. I've got to have bowel screening now.
Good. Can we do it live on here?
Is it legit?
Let's do it live on here.
No, to be fair, in all seriousness, they're checking for things that are not good. So. It's it's good, but me mates.
You appear to have a penis, Mr. Fenwick.
My mates that have been turning 50 over the last few. I'm not listening. I'm ignoring that. they've all been getting the kits, so we're all just a few weeks behind each other. So I'm hoping it's not reusable.
Quite literally.
Can I just point out that he was the one banging on about we need to get finished for 9 o'clock? Because
come on, I want to go watch the Miami Grand Prix.
He's telling us about somebody needs to check his arsehole.
Have you ever had the finger up your bum at the doctor's?
Not at the doctor's.
Not a finger.
I know. I only went in with a snotty nose.
I came out. I was ticking. He forgot something.
Oh, Bruce is gone. I love it.
There's your pod title, not at the doctor's.
If anybody's got any ideas for a title, please put them in. We'd be grateful, because A, I can't be asked to think of one, and B, it'd be great to get you more involved in it as best we can. So any ideas for titles, send it in.
It'll be nothing physical.
Before you do move on, one thing I'm going to say.
That's a shame.
It's Rodgers and Tharm. You need to get rid of one for next season. You can't have both of them with McJanet.
Can we please get rid of? Can we please get? Can you please get rid of Tharm? I just want to see Mike crying.
I think Rodgers, but I just don't think those three centre halves are the three that really go the next step.
Rodgers, yeah, I'd say Rodgers.
This is Mike McMahon, and you're listening to the Altrincham podcast.
Yeah. Oh, if he went to
Altrincham, number 5.
Oh, why did I put? Don't put me on for.
We can both do that. Look, I think Rodgers has really improved and proved a lot of people wrong, but I don't think we can have all. We can't have both. We need another centre back.
Thanks for checking your ass off pod title. You found an inflatable fish up there.
And it was a pike. Sake.
What's Rakiel Pike doing up there?
Aren't they quite
That's where he's been all season.
Right, if you don't go now, Bruce is going to walk off halfway through it. Right,
let's go to Dave and to Wayne, both of whom didn't know we could see them through the entirety of the podcast in the green room. We didn't let them know that. I've got to find the video. Oh, come on. There's got to be quicker ways of doing this. Scroll. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 9 minutes until the Miami Grand Prix starts. So a quick game is a good game. We are joined for the second semi-final because not as many people came in, and I can't be asked to do quarterfinals because I'm not going to be here till June.
I can't fucking see with the glasses on.
Ah, there we go. Dave and Wayne join us. Wayne, what's your name? Where do you come from, and how old are you?
Wayne, 39. I live in Rotherham.
There we go. Just like
39?
everyone.
39?
Yeah, I look good for it, don't I?
Whereabouts in Rotherham?
Raw Marsh.
Oh, come for
Mike, if you had to equate a Grimsby estate to Raw Marsh, which one is it?
Probably Nunny.
Oh, Wayne, is that fair?
No,
I'm not originally from Rotherham, by the way, but I'll take it.
Dave, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
I'm from Cleethorpes, just around the corner from London Park, actually.
There we go. And he's still got his Christmas decorations up.
Yeah, well, it's something like that. The missus does. Expect so.
There we go. Bruce, I will hand over to you because I know you're...
Am I allowed to do this? Does Dave have to declare an interest because he knows me?
Yeah, I know Bruce.
Yeah, but everyone knows you, Bruce. It's fine. He's in the examination room with you next week.
Right.
Yeah,
Dave,
well, I put my finger up his ass last time.
Ironically, Dave used to do that to us when we went to Super Club back in the day. Didn't Grimsby
Super Club, yeah. Maybe from Super Club.
Super Club.
Oh, it was excellent, wasn't it?
God,
it was
Pete Almond as well.
Yeah,
It's part of the prize doing Bruce's rectal examination.
Winner.
Bearing in mind, you want to do a season review next week before we get closed down.
I'll drink with some more drink, actually.
Right, roll the credits, please, for calendars.
Jesus Christ, Bruce.
What can I say? Right, Alex, can you sort out who's going first, please?
Wayne will go
I
first.
take my glasses off now, though.
Right, Wayne.
Can't be comfort Wayne.
You've maybe got one of these at home, so you might know where we're starting with this. Your first player is Jordan Wright. Wayne, are we going higher or lower than Jordan Wright?
Higher.
Higher than Jordan Wright.
Fucking hell, Wayne, unless you get Nick Colgan.
You've got 1997, 98, and this might be a problem. No, you might be right, actually, to be fair. Sorry, I always get that wrong. Right.
Colgan.
No, you're good, Wayne. You've got Macca. We've said before, Macca's like top trumps, youngie, isn't he?
Fucking hell, can't go fucking high in the Macca's here, can you?
Are we going higher or lower than Macca, Wayne?
I think I'll go lower.
Would lose.
2004.
Oh.
You might not get a go, Dave. We had that the other week.
That's what I'm drinking, I don't care.
Oh, we're going. Oh, Alex. Higher or lower than Macca? Alan Powton.
You know what? I'm going. I have to declare an interest, so I'm going to pass it over to Youngie for the decision.
House.
It's a really tough decision, but I'm going to have to say that Pouts is lower than Macca.
Right, okay. Alan Powton, Wayne, you still in the team?
Lower.
2022. Oh, I hope this isn't going to be another damp squib. Right, here we go. This is going to make things interesting. You are correct. You are correct. It's lower, Wayne. We've got Lenny. Are we going higher or lower than Lenny?
Lower.
Lower than Lenny. Ooh, he's
taking a risk.
What's going on?
Lower than Lenny. You've got 2021. Anything could happen here. We might need an adjudicator. We've got Harry Clifton.
Oh, he's got to be higher, hasn't he?
I think, Youngie, are we in agreement? I think
higher.
Harry Clifton.
Yeah,
is greater than
Harry
Lenny.
Clifton is higher than Lenny.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Wayne. Dave, you're in the hot seat with Harry Clifton. Higher or lower than Harry Clifton?
Got to be lower than Alex. Can't be any higher than Harry.
Yes, it can, Dave.
I didn't drink any else.
You've got 2023, mate. 2023. And you said just to confirm higher or lower than Harry, didn't you?
Right, mate. Whoa, a minute. 2023. So is that really got promoted?
No. You
He's got.
That's how it works.
Go lower then.
Lower than Harry Clifton. You've got Anthony Glenn and Dave. You're still in the hot seat.
Got to be lower, eh?
Let's go
well,
for
hang
my
on.
decision.
Higher or lower than Glennon, though?
Got to be lower.
Lower than Glennon?
Yeah. Got to be higher than Glenn, actually.
You said that. Youngie, we had lower there.
Because Glennon was lower than Clifton. Glennon's height, it got to be higher than Glennon.
You've got 2001, Dave.
Could be higher than Glennon. Livo's got to be higher than Glennon.
Yes. Remember, I'm running this show, though, Dave, not you. But yes, that is correct.
Are you sure?
So higher or lower than Livo, Dave?
Can't go higher than Livo. It's got to be lower than Livo. Livo's a legend.
You've turned over 1996, Dave. It's not guaranteed.
Oh, Wayne, you might steal it.
You drink.
Oh, Dave. Nicky Southall, Dave. You're still in the hot seat.
Livo's higher than Nicky. Livo's better than Southall. Livo any day.
We've got 3 calendars left. Nicky Southall. Higher or
Livo's
lower?
Higher than Nicky Southall.
Higher than Nicky Southall.
The fact we've got 3 calendars left is worst news I've had all week.
You've turned 2019, Dave, and you've gone higher than Nicky Southall.
Actually, give me a drink. Come on, give me a drink. Nicky Southall, I think it could be higher than him. I'm higher than Nicky Southall.
Not when you've turned Wes Thomas.
Oh, yeah, Wayne. Yeah.
Wayne, you're back in the hot seat with 2 to play. Higher or lower than Wes Thomas?
Let's go higher.
Well, anyone's got to be higher than Wes Thomas. Even I'm higher than Wes. Even Bruce is higher than Wes.
Or lower?
Higher.
I've lost. Sorry.
Well, hang on a minute.
Hang on. What's it?
It's gone like 2012.
No, I haven't reset the calendar. You've turned 2020.
Oh, wait.
Higher than Wes Thomas.
Who's Wes Thomas? I can't remember him.
Luke Hendry.
He's got to be a bit lower than him, hasn't he?
Adjudicated. So we've got Wes Thomas and Luke Hendry. And
Got to be lower.
he went higher.
There's three of us here to vote for this. So my vote
This is
would
key.
be
in the
that.
So hands
my
up
vote
if
would
Luke.
be that.
We've got comfort here, lads. Come on.
Hands up if Luke Hendry is higher than Wes Thomas.
I'm saying that because of the tweet he sent when he left, the prick.
Yeah, that's true. And if he's lower than Luke Hendry, Mike's not
Right,
getting
so
involved.
Wayne is still in the hot seat then with Hyatt. And Wayne, you've got one to turn. You get it right and you win. And there's nothing if you lose it. Dave takes it by default.
And
so
then they go to the
lower
final.
than Luke Hendry. This is
Higher.
tough. If you get a player from this era, higher.
Oh, you'd hear him say higher if you listened.
It's got to be one of
2024.
ours.
Is that this season? Oh,
Rose.
Good chance.
Rose.
That's not the picture. You said higher than Luke Hendry.
I just
You've
got
got
it better.
Gavin Holohan.
Got Holland's better.
Yeah.
Got to be. Come on. Come on, lads.
Yeah, so Wayne is tonight's winner.
No,
Congratulations, Wayne.
Holland.
Thank you for coming, David.
Well done, Wayne.
Thank
You're
you.
in the final against Trev. Thank you all so much for joining us. The Grand Prix has started, so we are no longer contractually obligated to entertain any of you. So we will see.
Bruce,
you all.
remember, you've got my tape thing still.
I'm not sure what that means. Right.
Is it this one?
see you all-
Yeah, the USB tape thing, yeah.
Oh,
Poor lad, Dave. No, he's there.
This one, Dave.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'll pop and see your missus again.
Yeah.
This has descended into something, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. See my missus. Yeah.
Right. Let's go. The Miami Grand Prix is about to start. See you all.
Bye.
See you losers later. See you later. Bye.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Say, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really